Hello viewers, welcome once again to my channel, Israeli Math Concept. In this tutorial, I will take you on the subject of calculation of variance and standard deviation of a given set of data which involves frequency. And that is specifically for ungrouped data. Remember that an ungrouped data are those sets of data that does not involve class interval. All right, I have an example on the board. The example says calculate the variance and standard deviation of the frequency distribution below. So looking at this table, the first row is about your x, which is your scores or your values or your numbers, while the second row is about your f, which stands for your frequency. And we are asked to calculate for our variance and the standard deviation of this given set of data. For you to be able to calculate for your variance and standard deviation, the first thing you should find is your mean. Then after you found your mean, you can go ahead to find your variance. And once you found your variance, if you then want to find your standard deviation, you then take the square root of the variance you found. All right, let's proceed with solving this question. I guess as we proceed, you will understand better. The first thing to do if you are asked to calculate for your variance and standard deviation of a set of data is to state your formula. And the formula for calculating the variance of a given set of data that involves frequency is given as your variance, which is equal to the summation of f of x minus your bar x all squared, then all over your summation of f. This is basically the formula for calculating for the variance of a given set of data which involves frequency. But if we are asked to find the standard deviation, that is our SD, it is equal to taking the square root of this variance. And the square root of the variance is square root of summation of f in bracket x minus your bar x all squared all over your summation of f. So to find our variance, it is very simple. We shall first of all find our bar x, which is our mean, because it is contained in the formula for our variance. And remember, the formula for finding our mean, which is our bar x, for a frequency table like this is very simple, which is summation of f of x all over summation of f. So let's draw a table and put the parameters on the table for convenience. So we have the first vertical line and as well the first horizontal line. At the first column, we have our x. And our x are all the scores we have in this table, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then on the second column, we have our f. Our f is our frequency, and our frequency here is 21212. So we have here 21212. So these are our frequency. Then the next column, we have our fx. That is the product of our frequency and our scores. That is our fx. So let's find our fs. Our fs simply means multiplying the frequencies with the scores here. So we say 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, 1 multiplied by 2 is 2, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, 1 multiplied by 4 is 4, and 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. So this is basically our fx. So by the formula of our mean, we have summation of fx. And that simply means to sum all the fx, the values of fs column here. And let's sum the values. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. And 14 plus 10 is 24. So we have 24. And that is all over summation of f, which means to sum all the f, that is our frequencies. And summing our frequencies here, we have 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. And 6 plus 2 is 8. So basically, we found our summation of f. So our bar x, which is our mean, is equal to summation of fx, which is 24, then divided by summation of f, which is 8. Then our bar x is equal to 24 divided by 8 will give us 3. So our mean, which is our bar x, is equal to 3. Alright, having found our mean, which is our bar x as 3, let's then go ahead to find our variance. And remember, this is the formula for our variance. And the formula for our variance, we have x minus bar x. So here we have x minus bar x as a combined parameter in this very formula for variance. Then the next parameter we shall have is x minus bar x all squared. We have it here already, x minus bar x all squared. Okay, then the last one, the last parameter we shall have is f in brackets x minus our bar x, and that is all squared. And that is what we have here, f in bracket x minus our bar x all squared. All right, let's start from the fourth column, which is x minus bar x. So the x are the scores we have in this column of the x. So we shall be subtracting our bar x, and our bar x is our mean, which we found to be 3. We shall be subtracting 3 from the values of x here. So I will now say x is 1, and 1 minus our bar x, which is 3. Remember, 1 minus 3 is simply minus 2. So we have here minus 2. Then coming here also, 2 minus our bar x, which is 3. And 2 minus 3 is simply minus 1. So here we have minus 1. Then coming here also, which is our next x, which is 3. And 3 minus our 3 here, which is our mean, will give us 0. Then we have our next x as 4. So 4 minus our bar x, which is 3, will give us 1. The next one is 5. And 5, which is our x, minus our bar x. And remember, our bar x is 3. And 5 minus 3 will give us 2. So here we have 2. So the next column is x minus bar x all squared. So we want to square every values we have in x minus bar x. So the first one is negative 2. And we have negative 2 all squared. That means negative 2 all squared. And that is the same thing as negative 2 into 2 places by multiplication. And negative 2 multiplied by negative 2, we have positive 4. So here we have 4. Then the next value is negative 1 all squared. And here we have negative 1 squared, which is same as negative 1 multiplied by negative 1. And negative 1 multiplied by negative 1 will give us 1. So here we have 1. Then the next one is 0 squared. And 0 squared is still 0. And 1 squared is 1 multiplied by 1, which is still 1. And 2 squared is 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4. Then the last column, which is f in bracket x minus our bar x all squared, means we shall be multiplying our f, which is the frequencies here. Every content of the frequencies here, we shall multiply it with every content in our x minus bar x all squared column. So our f now is 2, and 2 multiplied by 4 will give us 8. Then 1 multiplied by 1 will give us 1. Then 2 multiplied by 0 will still give us 0. Then 1 multiplied by 1 will give us 1. Then the last one, 2, which is our f, multiplied by 4 will give us 8. Okay, coming to the formula for our variance. The formula for our variance says that our variance is equal to summation of f in bracket x minus bar x all squared. That means at this column of f in bracket x minus bar x all squared, we shall sum everything we have here. And summing everything we have in this column, we have 8 plus 1, which is 9. 9 plus 0 is still 9. And 9 plus 1 is 10. And 10 plus 8 is 18. Then from the formula, we have also summation of f. And summation of f means to sum everything in the frequency, which we sum to be 8. So our variance is now equal to our summation of f in bracket everything here, which we sum to be 18. So we have 18 all over Then our summation of f, which is the summation of our frequency, which we've summed up to be 8. So we have all over 8. Hence, our variance is equal to 18 divided by 8. With your calculator, just punch 18 divided by 8, and that is equal to 2.25. So we have 2.25. So this is our variance. And the last thing we are asked to find is our standard deviation. And standard deviation is very simple. That is our SD. And standard deviation is equal to the square root of variance. We then have our standard deviation to be equal to square root of what is our variance. Our variance is 2.25. So we have 2.25. And that is equal to, when we take the square root of 2.25 with our calculator, we have 1.5. So our standard deviation is equal to 1.5. That sounds very simple. This is basically how to calculate for your variance and standard deviation of a given set of data which involves frequency. So whenever you are given a question of this kind, first thing first, before you will be able to find your variance, find the mean of that given set of data. And after you found the mean, find your variance. And then to find your standard deviation, just take the square root of the variance and you will get the value of your standard deviation respectively. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please remember to reshare this video. And at the same time, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I drop a new math content, you would be notified. Thank you and see you next time. Goodbye.